When you argue, you basically are not able to see the world of the other person. Sometimes there are silent arguments also. It is called Cold War, which is more dangerous. Basically, people who are insecure, who wants company of other people, they argue. My name is Dr. Kailash Mantry. I am a life coach and a mental health consultant. For the past 35 years, we have been researching on mental illnesses and we are successful in curing most of them. Serious mental illnesses like schizophrenia, bipolar, autism, ADHD, Parkinson, Alzheimer, anxiety disorder, insomnia, depression, OCD, drug addict, alcoholic, migraine, and many others. Epilepsy, stammering. We are also helping people suffering from cancer, brain stroke, paralysis, kidney failure, heart diseases, diabetes. These all are basically stress-related problems. And if you can handle your stress, you can be out of all the diseases. Today's topic is argument. Now, why this topic? Because mental patients argue a lot and their favorite hobby is arguing. So we have analyzed this situation, understood the subject, and we have come up with a good research paper on argument. Now, the category of people who argue more, they are basically head-oriented, emotionless, emotionally numb, and they argue a lot. Now, there are second category of people who are heart-oriented, feeling-oriented, full of emotions, and they argue less. Now, let's see where the argument is the maximum. The argument is maximum in the family only. Sometimes with the friends also, but close friends. God has played a joke with all human beings. Whenever a child was born, at that time, God spoke to the child in his ear that you are right. But God spoke to all the children. But you start thinking only you are right and the other is wrong. The truth is, all human beings are right. The person who enjoys alcohol, he will argue taking alcohol is good. The person who is smoking, he will say smoking is good. The person who is into drugs, somebody who is in the robbery, people who are telling lies, they all justify their act. People who are lazy, they also justify it is good to be lazy. But are they right? Yes. All human beings, whatever they do, they are right. Because human beings basically operate from the past. The strategy which they observe working in the past. Like children observe their parents. If the parents are argumentative, the child will become argumentative. If the parents are mature, silent, full of love, child will learn that. In argument, do you tell the truth always? No. 90% argument people use the support of lies. When you argue, you basically are not able to see the world of the other person, from where he is coming from. Now, why do people argue? Just to satisfy their ego, that they are intelligent people and they want certificate wherever they go. In all public places, the talk starts on discussion on any topic and within few minutes, it converts into argument. Because everybody wants to talk. Nobody wants to listen. If you are listening, you will observe that the other person also have a point. Maybe you do not agree with their point of view, but you also have a point. If you can understand that person's point of view, you will not argue. Why people argue? Just to prove their point. Are their point of view tested? Is their life working? No. Argumentative people are basically reactive people. They want to react on whatever the other person says. They want to waste their energy, their time. When you argue, your background conversation is that the other person is wrong. There is no desire to contribute to his life. Now let's see what is the difference between discussion and argument. In discussion, the central point is what is right. In argument, the central point is who is right. When the central point is what is right, that time there is honest knowledge sharing. When the central point is who is right, it is always you think you are right, other person think he is right. Whenever your point of view gets challenged, there is an inner desire to argue. Whenever I go to public place, I enjoy talking to people. I purposely open a topic which is a controversial topic like whether God exists or not. And you can see the reactions of people. Those who have invested so much time in believing that God exists, they argue with such rage, with such anger, with such frustration that they are right. And people who believe that God is not there, God does not exist, they also argue because the investment for the lifetime is God does not exist. And the truth is nobody knows. Neither the person who believes God is there, God exists, he knows the truth, Not the person who says God does not exist. He also doesn't know the truth. And both argue. Only people who have less knowledge argue more, and the people who have more knowledge argue less. Only serious people argue more because they are in a habit of taking everything seriously. They cannot take any point of view which is contrary to their point of view, and they think it is an attack on them, and they start arguing. Now, arguing person, does he argue at home or everywhere? He argues everywhere. Wherever he goes, he argues. Even in the local train also, he wants to argue and prove his point of view. Will intelligent person argue or a fool will argue? If you have full knowledge on the subject, there is no point in arguing. And the truth is, even if you don't argue, everybody comes to know the truth. What is the truth? In office atmosphere also, whenever the boss is shouting at the staff or finding mistakes of the staff, some staff argue, justify how they are right. And some staff, they say sorry and move on. Now tell me, the boss will continue with which staff? The one who says sorry and continue, or one who argues? Another point is, when you argue, does your relationship improve or it spoils? It spoils. Argument, silence always follow argument. Why silence always follow argument? Because at the end, everybody realizes there is no point in arguing. The person who thinks astrology is a science, he will continue thinking astrology is a science. And the person who thinks astrology is all bogus, it's all business, he will continue believing astrology is a business. Argument cannot change people's mind. What they believe, they will continue believing, and there is no point in proving that your point of view is the right point of view. Stop wasting your time, stop wasting your energy, focus on your dreams, focus on your goals, focus on your work. Does mature people argue or immature people argue? Mature people don't argue. Only immature people argue more. Does egoistic people argue more or non-egoistic people? Egoistic people will argue more. And if you observe people's argument, you will see they are all carrying Google knowledge. They do not have experience, because if you have experience, you will not argue. Now, let's take an example. I have got experience on love. Do I need to prove anybody life without love is zero? I need not prove. But if I have read it somewhere, and if I believe that life without love is zero, I will want to prove it to the world. So only people who have less experiences in life, they will argue. They are basically superficial people. They only want to impress people. They only want to dominate people. And what do you get in dominance? The other person runs away from you. I have seen in functions, many people avoid people who argue. They don't want to go close to that person also. And the person who wants to argue, he goes and catch hold of people because he wants to talk. Now, talking is the best strategy or silence is the best strategy? Listening is the best strategy. My experience is, if you are a good listener, people will come close to you. They will get related to you. They will enjoy spending time with you. In my society, in the building where I am living, there are one or two persons who always dominate the annual general function. They just want to prove how intelligent they are. But I know, all the society members knows that there is no point in talking to this person. Basically, people who are insecure, who wants company of other people, they argue. Because if you are secure, what is the point in talking? Just enjoy listening. Because everyone wants to talk. So let there be some listeners. And mature people are more listeners or immature people are more listeners. Mature people listen more. But there is no point. Argument is normal. Everybody does it. But if it boils to a point where relationship breaks, when you hurt people, that is a point you should not go. Arguing people are not bad people. They are basically head-oriented. We need to create more feeling into them. They need to be more emotional, and argument will stop. The more emotional you are, the less argumentative you will become. And mental patients are basically emotionally numb. They feel injustice is done to them and they want to argue. But basically, argument is basically frustration expression, anger expression, and it spoils the atmosphere. Now let's take, why do people argue? When the needs are clashing, when the values are clashing, and when the priorities are clashing. And I have some different priority, my wife has different priority. If that is the situation, we will argue. If my values are different, my wife's values are different, we will argue. Whenever there is a miscommunication or misunderstanding, people want to argue more. Holding on to past resentments and not expressing in time is the short reason for argument. Wanting to feel seen or heard is the greatest desire for argument. And really people don't know how to ask for it. Now let's see the types of argument. The first is superficial. It's a casual conversation. On any topic, you will argue, but you don't take it seriously. After 10 minutes, you forget it. Second category is deep-rooted argument, where your hurt is so deep that you cannot tolerate any opinion against you. Just to give an example, if somebody is molested or raped, and anybody says nowadays molestation is normal, do you think that girl can take it? Because it is deep-rooted. She has suffered a lot because of molestation. Third category is a power-based argument. Here the desire is to control other person or to dominate. Whenever there is a desire to control other human being, dominate the other person, and the good example is parent trying to control their children, dominate their children, boss dominating their staff, even housemates, people dominate, people try to control, and that's why there is an argument. Sometimes there are silent argument also. It is called Cold War, and which is more dangerous than the argument. Now let's take another view. How to argue effectively? Breathe deeply, pause before opening your mouth or before reacting. Ask questions instead of accusation. Stop blaming people. You can ask quality questions. When you're saying this, what is the basis of this? Why you feel this? And you allow the other person to open up. And you see all point of views are a valid point of view. In argument, you don't stick to one point. The conversation may start anywhere and at other point. Stop bringing your old wounds in the mid-argument. Be solution-oriented and the argument will stop. Always say, what can we do to solve this problem? Learn to realize when you are speaking to satisfy your ego. Don't argue just to win. Argue to grow or understand. Always validate the other person's feeling, even though you may not agree with that person. Say what you feel, but don't say what you are saying is hurting me. This is killing communication. Now, when to learn to let go? If the same fights keep coming back, something deeper is unresolved. If the argument becomes abusive or toxic, choose to distance yourself from the conversation. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words, and this is a good proverb to practice. Peace is stronger than pride. Now some extra points to strengthen my message. Argument is not the sign of broken relationship, but silence is. The goal of argument should be clarity and not victory. Children learn how to handle situation through their parents. If the parents are arguing, children will also start arguing. Every argument is a chance to understand yourself better too. You don't always have to have the last word to have your last impact. Only mature people argue less, and wherever you are in public, in relationship, practice maturity, practice silence, and your relations will grow. You will be at peace and you will be able to fulfill your dream and desires. Thank you.